welcome to the Pixie Posse section of the Adobe Live Isms. Hi Jack, how are you? I hope you're doing well. Today, talk about an end of a series. I have something delicious for us to end on. Always thought it's always good to leave us kind of hungry, no? Hi Katrina, hi Rob, hi Gareth. I hope you're all doing well today. I do have some ideas for what I want to make us focus on later, maybe for another series, more like the fundamentals of animation, which I think might be a good thing for us to start with, because once we know the fundamentals, it's going to make everything else after that a little bit easier. But for today, we're going to be focusing on a bunch of very cute looking, delicious, tasty food that we're going to animate. And at the very end of the video or our class or our session, I will eventually upload all of the Animation 101 sections that we've done, so you can go back, download the files if you missed them before, go along with the stages and follow back along with the video if you want to catch up on those. Hi Andre! Okay, so for today, we're taking a look at these still images. There is actually a secret extra one in there that I've left for you as like a little surprise extra. But we're going to be taking these stills and making them interesting and fascinating, adding a tiny bit of animation, a little bit of over-exaggeration, a little bit of follow-through, and we'll be learning masking today. Hi Voodoo Val! Thank you very much. Voodoo Val's just added a link down below, so if you do want to get started with some of the animation files or today's animation files, please pop down and go for it. Alrighty, so first things first, when you first open the file, you're going to be seen with a bunch of bananas, but what do we do? Good question. Let's take a look at our stages, shall we? First things first, we're going to bring our bananas down from the sky. Oh, thank you, Val! But we're going to take them just a step further than the ground and bring them back up. This is called exaggeration. So we're just going to exaggerate the movement a little bit. That's going to make it look like there's a little bit of mass going on, rather than it just touching the floor instantly, because that's linear, and it's not always that interesting. If it's linear, it might be conveying a different kind of movement. Plus we can add a shadow. We'll add a shadow. It's so funny. When things fall, for some reason, I've never been sure of what the shadow does, but it'll be up to you if you want to use it or not. These are so cute. Thank you. Bandam, welcome. Richard, twice in one day. That's good, right? Richard, were you there when I couldn't see the chat before? I'm so sorry if that's the case. I can see it now. I'm here now. All right, so what we need to do first is move the bananas downwards. So let's take a look at our Nana driver. So I've separated all of our main drivers. Our drivers are the things that are going to move the main part of the model for us, or the mesh. So I'm in my Nana driver, and I'm going to press the P key, P for position. Oh, it's like we're back at school again. P for position, and we're going to pop a keyframe down. That's by clicking on the stopwatch. The stopwatch is how we make our frames. So we put a frame down, but we know we need it to bounce a little bit lower. So let me go over here. I'm going to click on my keyframe. I'm going to copy it with Control and C. Move the keyframe just a little bit. And then press Control and V once more. How are you guys doing, by the way? Have you been very productive today? I feel like every artist is always doing lots of things all the time, you know? Alrighty. Now, I've got my first keyframe and I've pasted another keyframe. They're exactly the same, but we know that it needs to hit the floor. So I'm just going to go over to the right-hand side. The one on the far right does the up and down movement. That's the Y-axis. So I'm going to move it to the shadow. We're going to claim that the shadow is where the floor is. You know, I'm full of turkey. Wait, you're full of turkey? The usual? Hold on. The usual is that you're full of turkey? Wow. I see. Oh. Sounds very, very lovely. And here I am just sitting here. Turkey-less. Look at me. No turkey, no food, looking at food on screen. Like this is gonna save me. Okay. Foul. When you come in and just let us know that you've actually got the food though. You come in, you tell people you've actually got food. Here I am sitting here dry. Dry, like, look at me. Face dry, like, ugh. Let me copy this keyframe now that we've moved it. Hi, Lee, welcome in, lovely. We're just going to make this banana bounce. So at the moment, if we press play, I'm gonna just press B. That's gonna pull the keyframe timeline in a little bit, and then I'm gonna press N. If you're animating in a small space and you've got a composition is pretty much a group that contains all of our animation and our files. Let's say there's lots of it like we have right here, but you've only animated this tiny bit and you want to press play, but you don't need it to go forever. B will pull it in and N will pull the outer bit in as well. Here, catch it. Thank you. Oh. If we press space now, it's going to go between the area that we've allowed it to go through. It's great, but as we said before, it's kind of boring when it touches and it only hits the one. So let's go to the center. We're going to copy our last keyframe because that knows where the end is. There we go. And we're going to pull the Y down just below the shadow. This means it's going to exaggerate its movement and kind of make it a little bit more interesting. So it's doing it, but it's doing it at an even pace. We can make the way up happen slower, or the way down happen slower. I think I want it to come up just a little bit slower. So to do that, all I'm going to do is grab the last keyframe and drag it out a little bit. You know what I like when I look down in the chat? You guys all know each other and it's like, oh, so sweet. Hi, Dwayne. Welcome in, lovely. There we go. By me pulling it out just a little bit, it's kind of giving us a tiny bit more. We can see the frames happening a little bit easier. When the frames are closer together, it moves faster, but maybe the eye can't catch all of it. So I'm just going to drag it out just a little bit more. There we go. Looks like a very healthy dollop of bananas. We got it plopping down and it comes back up. So the difference that we've got here, let me take this out. I took out the whole thing. I meant to take out the one keyframe, but okay. Before, we just had it sliding down, but now we've got it bouncing down and popping. Wonderful. After that, we need to move the shadow. So if we go to the very bottom, we've got our every shadow layer. So technically we can just copy this and move it in the other places. I'm sure we will. But I did want to give you an example of a shadow. I don't tend to use shadows often, but it's fun to do so. So how we're going to move the shadow is actually with the scale. We're going to press S for scale. And we're met with the lock and 2 are hundreds. If we drag it as it is, it's going to do both the width and the height. And that's not what I need. I need it to change width only. So let's grab the lock, unlock that right there. And as the bananas are falling, let's click on our stopwatch for the every shadow. And let's copy that. Hi, Steve. And I've copied my first keyframe and I'm going to paste it now. Okie dokie. So there's no movement, that's okay. I think I want the shadow to be bigger when the banana's higher. So let's go to the very far left blue numbers. That's actually our width. And we're just going to drag it out a little bit. Now that's cool, but the movement, if something was going down, let's say there's a shadow on this, the shadow and the thing that's moving happens at pretty much the same time. It's pretty much the same time. I don't think there's any time delay. So we're going to have to fix this. Let me move my scale. By the time it hits here, it needs to come in. So I'm going to grab my last keyframe and just drag it in a little bit. There we go. So now we've got the shadow going in. Looks a little bit stiff. So if you like, we can totally do what we did with the bananas to the shadow. Just over exaggerate the movement a little bit. So I'm going to copy my last keyframe, paste it just a little bit over. We're going to go back to our original last keyframe and make it a bit smaller. this way, it squeezes in and then it goes back out. Nice. Okay, we've got our bananas falling. We love it. We're with it. What next? Let's find out, shall we? Okie doke. So the banana's fallen. We've got the shadow going. We need to move the bananas individually. So to do that, we're just gonna rotate the banana up because it's falling. Once we hit the floor, we'll have the banana go back down because it's reacting to the impact. And then once it comes up, we'll allow it to relax back to normal. By doing that, it kind of gives us a little follow through. So normally when something falls, it doesn't just slap down. If it was, let's say, a ball, for instance, then we would have more squash and splash if it was a squishier ball. Maybe a water balloon. Maybe next time I'll have a water balloon. Hold on, I've got the perfect thing. Here we go. If this were to fall, instead of it going straight down, it actually bounces in between. So that's exactly what we're doing with these bananas. So let's hop in and give that a go. All right, so we got our banana. We know that we need to have the banana react to falling. So let's go to the front banana first. And we need R for rotation. So we've clicked on our stopwatch. We've got all of that popping. We're here for it. And because that's the stillness that I need it to be at, all of the positions are actually in the right place to start with. I'm going to copy my keyframe, and at the very last one, I'm just going to paste it again. Whoops, she didn't grab the right one. There we go. Copy and paste. Now I need it to react to falling. So let's move in a tiny bit and rotate this up a tad. Here we go. Now I can't have it react before it falls. We need it to have a reason to fall. We can do it beforehand, but it won't really make much sense. It looks like it's moving out of space and out of time. So if you're having something reacting to moving, make sure the thing that it's reacting to, it happens directly after it. So if it's falling, it falls about now, therefore, rotation up. It looks like it hits the ground there. So we're not going to react to the ground just yet. We've got it reacting to falling right now, which is perfect. So it's hit the ground. We want to rotate it the other way. React to falling, react to hitting. Here we go. So I'm going to plop that down. Boop. We should maybe make it go down just a tiny bit more. Millie, you know what? A perfect solution might be Adobe Express, I believe, is the one. Adobe Express has come out recently, I think maybe in the last year, or maybe, I think it was this year that it came out. There's a few tutorials on Adobe Live, and I think the original, the main Adobe channel, where they show you all the awesome things that you can do with that, so please check that out. All right, so now I've added the reaction to it hitting the floor, and I've got it going back up to the main part. It's good. It reacts to it moving. That's exactly what we need. But if we zoom in just a little bit, you might notice that its position of falling and its position of the banana rotating is exactly the same, which at the moment might not really seem like a problem. This could be awesome, but if we change our timing, if we make things not happen at the same time, it will make it look slightly more interesting. Thank you, Voodoo! So let me grab the last frame and drag it just a tiny bit. Boom. There we go. So now, if we slow that down, before it relaxes itself, the banana has stopped, or the whole banana bunch has stopped moving, but the banana still rotates up. Now that's some interesting follow through. Now we totally can do this manually on all the other bananas, but we like to work smarter, not harder. So to do so, all we're gonna do is copy the keyframes that we've got, open the Nana mid, let's press rotate, and we're gonna paste it in the exact same position. There we go. If you guys have any questions, please lay them on me. Lay them on me, I would like to know. And we'll paste again. Oops, let me just paste on the middle one. So right now, we've got 2 doing exact same thing. You really don't need to animate from the start. You really don't have time to be starting from the start all over again. So let me grab the keyframes we just did, and we're just gonna move it a little bit. That way it is doing the right animation. We're happy with what it's doing, but it's gonna happen just a little bit later. Might be too late. Let's drag it in a tad. I think the falling might still have to happen at the same point. So I'm gonna see what it looks like first. I like it. I'm gonna drag the falling back to the start with the others. I'm just gonna pull everything out a little bit, just to make it oscillate. So now when it's sped up, it actually looks like it's bouncing at a slightly different frame. It looks really dramatic, like there, when it's moving slowly. But thankfully, the human eye will fix it all for you. So really, we're doing some of the work, but the human eye will do the rest of the work for you. All right, so we've got 2 of the bananas bouncing. Next, let's do the banana back. Let's paste our keyframes. So now this and the front one are moving exactly the same, but we know to make this look like it's happening at a different time, we're just gonna click and drag, select all of the frames that have our positions on it for the last nana, and just drag it out a little bit. Maybe one after the other. There we go, let's see what that looks like. Ooh, there we go, that's more like it. So now we've got our banana falling. It's kind of oscillating. All of the banana pieces, it's like this now, hold on. All of the banana pieces are moving one after the other. Way more interesting to look at compared to just it going down flat. Awesome. Don't worry, I've got lots more. We've got lots more to get stuck into. Ooh, candy's next. We do love candy. So we've just had something tasty that is good for us, and we're here for it. To make this a little bit more like it's dipping between the 2, if we have time, I'll show a little transition technique. If not, we're going to select everything related to the banana, and we're going to hold Control, Shift, and D. This splits our layers, so if you're trying to cut something off, this is a really good way to cut things. And I'm just going to click and drag one of these to the top. That way they're all together. So like a nice stagger. Exactly, that's the word. That's the word I couldn't find. Thank you, exactly. We're staggering. Now I've grabbed the second half to the top, I can delete it now. There we go. Maybe pull it out just a little bit more. There we go. Not completely, we don't want it to disappear too soon. I think it would be nice to add a transition. Once we get the main animation parts down, I think adding a transition won't be so tricky. But we've got our bananas falling. We'll have it on the screen for a little bit longer. But good job, I'm really happy with this one. I think you find that really doing simple animations that are still really effective don't take you that long to do. So it allows you to do a little bit more. Let's save this and look at stage number 3. What's next? So we've got candy. We're going to do exactly the same thing with what we did with the banana. We're going to drag it down, but we're going to add squash and stretch this time. That's with scale. Not too bad, not too hard. By adding the scale with it falling, it kind of makes it look like doesn't make it look like it's a very weighty object, but it looks like it's more bouncy and fun, and the more bouncy something is, the more interesting it is. We're also going to be moving its candy wrapper, and you're going to be learning masking for the first time, which is going to be awesome. There's so many things you can do with masking. It kind of makes you think backwards, but it'll be a fun thing for us to dig into. Yay, candy! Woohoo! I mean, you've just had turkey. You might as well like treat yourself, right? Treat yourself. I'm going to grab the candy driver and I'm gonna drag these down. Originally, they were in a different order because we were gonna do something else first, but I changed my mind. So I'm just gonna click and select all of the candy parts and drag it down. And let me move these over by holding left click and dragging it over. This way, they're visible when I want them to be visible. Actually, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start it from the front, and then once we've done the animation that we wanna do, we'll move it over after. Makes it a little bit cleaner for us to do. I think all the animations are gonna be about the same, so let's clean this one up too. Gonna hold Control and Shift and press D once more. Click and drag it up. Now we've cut off the other end. Awesome. We're just going to drag in our timeline awareness bar. It does have a proper name. It eludes me right now. There we go. So now we are within the bounds of seeing the candy. Just what we like to be in. Perfect. Okay. So the first thing that happened was it moved down. So you could either do this manually, or because we've already done the banana, we can just grab the bananas one and see if we like it. So I'm just going to go to the Nana driver and press P for position, grab everything that's happening in here and hold Control and C. Let's go up to the candy driver. We don't need the candy unwrapper right now, so let's turn off the visibility. To do that, go over to the eye, and you're turning off the eye so it can't be seen. There we go. We've got the candy. We're going to press P for position, and we're going to paste. See if we like it. The shadow is related to something else, so I'm just going to hide the shadow for now. CTI. Yes, Phantom. Thank you. Oh my gosh, what a name. Current time indicator. Yay! As far as I can remember. Hey, you know more than I do. I'm like, yeah, that thing at the top. Drag that back. Thank you. All right. So we're okay with it. It bounces down. We dig it. It's all right. And it goes to where the shadow line is. All right, cool. But we need a squash and a stretch. The other one didn't have one. I want this one to have a squash and stretch just to give a little bit more life. So we're gonna go for scale. Scale starts with F. Let's hop in. We've got our scale now, but we can't see the position, and it's kind of important for us to see both. So the first thing I'm gonna do is make a keyframe on my scale, press U. U on the keyboard allows you to see everything that has a keyframe on it. So instead of you going and clicking on the drop down box and flicking through and spending at least 3 minutes trying to find all your stuff, all you have to do is press U on something that you actually have keyframes on, or if you don't know if you've animated on that frame, press U on it anyway and you will soon find out. All right, so we've got our scale. We need to talk about the follow through. In order for squash and stretch, which is what this is, to work, it reacts to falling. So I don't have anything here that can squish, do I? She's looking. Maybe. I have something. Hold on. I've got something. I'll be right back. Okay. I've got something. Can I do it with this? Yes, I can. Okay. All right. Here we go. I always have something. Right. Squash and stretch. I have a bunny. So to explain squash and stretch, yes, this can fall from a height, but it looks kind of boring if it does. For us to make it more interesting, when things are falling, we can stretch them. Once they hit the ground's going to be the bottom of this board here. So if it's falling, things stretch. When they hit the floor, they squash, and then they return back to normal. If we did that in real time, it will kind of give it more of a squishy, you know those really big, oh, I've got it. Oh my gosh, wait, I've got it. I've actually got it. Okay, this will do the squash and stretch by default. I'm going to move it. It's really heavy, but it's a squishy thing. When I move it, you'll notice that its head is going to squash, it's going to stretch up and actually go back to the normal size. So I'm gonna move it a few times. Ready for the cuteness? So every time I move it up, it stretches and then it returns back to its normal position. That's exactly what we're going to do with our candy. You can do that with lots of things to give it a little bit more life. Makes it look a little bit more interesting than if you just moved it down. Perfect example. Yeah! Thank you. I looked hard for that. Okay, so we could totally add a squash on this. The more squash you give a item or a character, the more wiggly, jiggly, and less of a mass it will seem that it has. It's useful. You can do either one. Just depends on what kind of thing you're trying to portray. So, we've got my scale. I'm just going to copy my first keyframe. That's Control and C. Move to the last frame and Control and V. It's easier to put your frames exactly on the last one, even though they're going to be doing something different, and we might, just like with the banana, change the timing of the scale later, but initially they'll all be in the right area for us to mess around with later. So my scale is in the same place. Awesome. When it's coming down, we need it to stretch, and it comes down between these two keyframes. So let's zoom in. So between these two, it falls. So we're going to go over to the Y axis and drag it up. So now we've got it coming down and it stretches. It's just hit the floor. When it hits the floor, we're going to have it squash in reaction to hitting. There we go. So it squashes. We've got the stretch, reaction to falling. The squash, reaction to hitting the ground. And then we've got it going back to normal. So let's take a little look at that. Actually, I'm just going to take out the reaction to falling just so we can see how it helps. Right now, I've only added the reaction to falling. It's kind of, oh, let me drag this out a little bit. It's kind of like it floats down. It could work, but it kind of seems like it floats down just a little bit. So if we add our reaction to hitting the ground back in, now we've got a little bit of a, like a little reaction, a little after, a little follow through, that little bounce that we need. So we've got our bounce. Awesome. If we wanted to, we can definitely make it go a little bit wider too. Normally when things squash in height, they get wider. They do change width a little bit. So I'm just going to go to the width and drag it out just a little bit on the one that goes down. Let's see what happens. There we go. Now it's giving it a little bit more chunk. Which is exactly what we want for this candy. Love it. You can totally play around with these after. And talking about the timing, if we want, we can change how this scale or it going back to its normal height happens. So let's grab this last keyframe and drag it out just a little bit. There it is. So now, by the time it stopped moving, it coming back up to its normal height, it happens slightly afterwards. So we're changing, what is it? We're staggering the animation. This is the timing and the pacing situation again. Having things not happen at the same time is more interesting than having them happen at the same time. So when you're animating something, try to make things happen at different times. If you go and look at Disney animations and things like that, one part of the body might be doing something, and while it's getting to an end, something else has happened faster, something else has happened slower. It just kind of brings a little bit more fascination. Okie doke. So we've got the bounce, we've got it popping down. We love it. I'm here for it. All the yes. There was actually only one staging video. So what we need to do now is move the candy wrapper. So let's turn the eye back on the candy wrapper. Hello, there it is. And we're going to move its position. Okie doke. P for position on the candy wrapper. And I don't want it to be seen too soon, but we're going to drag it up anyway. So let's click the keyframe on that. This is where it needs to end. So I'm just going to drag this keyframe over a little bit. We don't want to lose the original pacing, which is why we normally take a keyframe first and move it somewhere safe. Let's copy and paste that keyframe. If you don't like copying and pasting keyframes, you can absolutely go over to the far left and click on the Add Remove Keyframe button. There's multiple ways to do one thing, which is very, very handy. It's all different like that, you know? All right, so I'm just going to move my keyframes over a bit. We need the candy to be down first. We can change the timing of this slightly later. Let me drag this up. So you know, like when you open a candy bar, okay, normally you like, you know, you pull it from the side. We're gonna make it a little bit more dramatic by just kind of falling from up on high. So it's from there and we need to come down. Cool. Happens a little bit fast. So to make an animation happen slower, drag it out a little bit. We've got our drag. Let's drag it out just a tiny bit more. There we go. Cool, but it's linear. Linear is normally what a robot does, is it's the only thing that can kind of move like that. No slow, no speeding, no nothing. So let me grab that last keyframe and let's do the same thing that we did with the banana. Let's over exaggerate the movement. So I'm gonna paste this right here and drag it down just a little bit more. There we go. So now it's gonna go down beyond its way and come back up. Let's press play on that. Nice. A little bit of squish. All here for the squish. Amazing. Next, we don't need it to be seen this soon, so I'm going to grab the layer that we've got. When your cursor changes to those arrows on the side, that's when you know it's going to start cropping it in. So we're just going to crop it in and allow it to be seen when it's on its way down. There we go. Even though it wasn't there before, the eye doesn't really register that, and it kind of makes it seem like it was there or it fits somehow, and we didn't even need to do any scaling on it, which is amazing. If you want, After Effects actually has a really cool motion blur effect on things that move kind of fast. On the left, if you can't see this, go down to click Toggle Switches and Modes. We're going to click this once and it changes what abilities we can put on our thing or effects. So we've got our motion blur right here. If we want to, we can click that button and it will add a little bit of a blur to things that are coming down. You may or may not want it. I think for this one, I shan't. It's not moving fast enough for me to warrant it, I don't think. So we've got the candy wrapper coming down. We've got the unwrapper coming down. New things to learn, masking. But do we want to add the masking in now? The only reason why I'm stopping us from doing the masking is it's kind of like, it's unwrapping, but we haven't had the first animation to kind of indicate it's doing something. So I think I want my candy to bounce. So it goes up and then when it comes back down again, it's indicating it's a anticipation move. So anticipation is something that normally happens when you're jumping. You have to bend down first to go up. That's called an anticipation. Same for if you're winding up to punch, that's an anticipation. It lets the viewer know what's about to happen. So by my candy going up again, you know something's probably going to happen at the top. It gives us a little bit of time to adjust and focus on different things. So that's what I want to do. I'm going to go back to my candy driver, go to my scale, and I'm going to move the Y down a bit because we can't go up before we go down, can't go down before we go up. So we're going to have to make this go up as well, I think. Let's push that down. Oh, we could totally do this in tandem. We could totally do this in tandem. We'll see. Gonna move it down. Probably not much. Bring it up. For my anticipation, I'm going to make it go down again because it has to go back to its last frame or its still frame. The last frame that we had that was at the right place was this one. So let me paste this right here. And I'm just gonna see what it looks like. It goes up, but it doesn't go down when I need it to. We're not too worried about the unwrapper's movement. We can change that any time. I do need it to go down first. So I've got an up, a down, and a relaxed. A little bit fast though, because I put it all so close together. I'm just gonna drag these out a little bit, and we'll probably move where our unwrapper is too. Still a little bit fast. Let's drag a little bit more. I want my up to last just a bit. Let me just drag this over a little bit more, see what goes on here. Boom. And then we need it to come down. I'm just going to copy my high keyframe. By repasting my keyframe, you can do this with any of the keyframes. This kind of creates a hold because it's showing the exact same frame and not allowing it to move, which is pretty useful for us right now. So even though it looks really, really obvious in the still and the slowdown, it's not obvious in the speed up. So at this point, I need it to come down. So let me move my unwrapper. Find a perfect time for it to go in. Cool. But I want to drag this out. We learned this in our last one, actually. All we have to do to drag out the speed while it being in the same time frame is select all of the keyframes that you want and hold the Alt key while you drag. This way, it's slowing down because we're making it go out further, but it's staying in relation to the others. There we go. So it's got the right movement, the right positioning, but just a little bit slower. Nice. Okay, let me drag all of these. I think this one might have a longer animation than the bananas. Awesome. Next, masking. Masking is an easy way to reveal or hide things. We're going to use it to reveal something. In your layers, you've got candy covered and candy choco. If we hide candy covered, we can see I've actually got a chocolate piece underneath it, but we need to reveal it first. So on our candy covered, we're going to pick a point when the unwrapper comes down. We're going to go up to the top, find our square, our rectangle tool. And actually, I'm going to go to where the wrapper comes down because that way I know where it needs to end up ultimately. We're going to click and drag. There we go. Now, while you're clicking and dragging, it's going to reveal or hide certain things. You can choose to invert it if that's something that you need. So if it was inverted, let's go and grab our mask. This means that it's going to show things in the opposite direction. It's literally inverted, which I think I might like more for this. No wrong ways, really. But I think that might be what I prefer. Is that what I want? 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 I don't know. Let me see. No, it's okay. We'll do it this way. Okay, I've uninverted it. We're good. I've uninverted it. The other way is perfectly fine, but we've uninverted it for this one. So let me go and click on the mask. If you haven't found it, make sure you go to candy covered, press the U key twice. Just like double tap that. Once you do, your mask reveals. I have heard my own voice in my head exactly like this, really? Just the high pitch. It's one of those, what is it, the inner creative musings? Ah, no. Ah, it's like you have so much choice. Like, oh dear. Okay, we've got our mask path, but we need to animate it. To animate anything in After Effects, we need to click on the stopwatch. So let me grab the stopwatch, but before I do, let me move it to the end because then we know where it should be. Boop, and we can work backwards. So by the end, it needs to show everything. Cool. Is this what I want? Is it? Is this what I want? Oh Oh no! Oh, that part! Oh, Val! Oh my gosh, the creative struggle. It's the best thing. And then like, once you've done a little bit, you still ask yourself that, even though it's been an hour of you working, and you're still like, you're like, I'm kind of far in. I don't know if I want to change it. And then the worst thing is when you're like, actually, I do want to change it. And then you do. And it's like, well, I guess I'll just save this in the pile of I'm never going to go back. Let me go back and start on this thing as if I didn't spend 2 hours on something else already. So, yep, I hear you. I hear you. The struggle is real. The struggle is real. Okay, so we've got this. Let me go to the very top. And I'm going to copy and paste this again. My favorite method, pretty much, of knowing where things need to stay. Okay, at the very end, let's move our keyframe back. I'm going to hold Control. This way it knows that I only want to move one part. Oh, hello. You want to be like this? Oh, never mind. It's Shift. Okay, we're going to hold Shift. Make sure we're on the right keyframe, though. Hold Shift. That way it knows that we only want to drag one piece. And we're going to pull it to the side that we want it to be on. Cool. So now it looks like it's revealing a bit of chocolate, but it goes down before it goes back up. Let me show you what it looks like first. If you do have this, you're like, oh, cool. It happens, but it's happening too slowly. That's because the wrapper bounces. So let's make the wrapper bounce. Val said, this isn't what I want, but at this point, I'm too far along. This is the T. This is the T, Val. This is the T. So let me paste my keyframe again, because we need it to happen pretty much around the same time. And we're going to drag it down just a little bit more. Actually, we can just drag the whole thing down, really. As long as it doesn't affect this too much, I'm just going to make sure that the chocolate isn't showing too soon. Okay, so if we move this in slow-mo, it's kind of showing the wrapper when it shouldn't. So I'm just going to halfway in between, give it a little bit of help. Make sure we hold down the Shift button so it knows I only want to drag this one. And let's move the other one up because it's showing a little bit too much. Just a little bit. Just a little bit too much. There we go. Nice. I'm just gonna grab this side and make sure that it's still hidden. Okay, so if we press play on this one, now we've got a nice little reveal. Da 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 da. Candy bars ready for the town. By the time I get to Instagram, sometimes I'm pretending I made it that way. Val, you know how I've come to deal with that kind of thing? I have chosen to go the Picasso way with it. And I had heard that he had said once, I've been going off this since my uni days. I heard he said once that, you know, someone asked, oh, do you like go back to fix your work? He said, no, once the work is done, it's done. I'm not going back. Like if I haven't painted something and I deemed it done once, it's done. I have to take my knowledge to the next thing. It's done. So it's like, okay, I'm good. Clever. Hello, Devlin. Oh, that looks really good. Thank you. Wait, my head's flicking the wrong way. Wait. Thank you. There we go. That's more like it. Oh, that looks really good. Oh, thank you. Oh, this hair's still on my face. Wait, I don't think you can see it there. It's fine. We'll pretend like it's not there. I love it. Yeah. So that's using, we're not even doing ease in or ease out or anything like that. Really, we kind of are, but simply. We're not using any of the right analog sticks. Right analog sticks, I'm talking like a gamer. We're not using any right clicks or nothing like that. We're literally just moving our standard keyframes and learning masking for the first time. I think next time we'll have more things with masking. Been lurking, enjoying the work. Oh, thank you. Val, why don't you write something? It's finished. Yep, that's it. That's literally the T. That's literally the T though. That's the T. Now let me grab the candy. The same way that we revealed all the keyframes is how we hide it. So let's press the U key and let's click and drag it. You can hold Shift. Shift snaps it behind layers. So now I can turn back on the bananas. There we go. And press the space key. So we've got the bananas falling. We got the candy. Oh, these are kind of going to the flow of the music. Hey, go banana, go candy. Hey, go banana, go candy. Hey, okay, cool. We got distracted by the music. She was really feeling it. Let's save it and let's move on to the next one. What is next? That is number 4. Okay, we've got a donut. We can totally make it more interesting than what I've done over there by adding a squash and stretch. So I think we're gonna. But we know to make the donut full, easy peasy. After that, we're going to add the sprinkles on top. Just a little bit of the sprinkles, and I know there's a lot of sprinkles. There is a lot of sprinkles. I need you to experience the feeling of the animator hood, where some things are tedious, but that's okay, because we've got lots of shortcuts and ways around it. So that's what we're gonna be doing. New single drops this Friday, yeah. Go banana, go candy bar, go banana, go candy bar, go banana, the candy bar. All right, so donut, there's a lot of stuff to the donut. A lot of the animations that I've done, like the Twitch animation emotes that I've been doing lately on the Behance channel. Ooh, let's drag it to the front. Some of those are really tedious and they're kind of laid out like this with all these layers. This is gonna be the one. Jack, did someone say donuts? Yes, Jack, I saw your donuts. I've seen your donuts before. Jack was like, ah. Donuts. All the donuts. All right, so we know that we need the donut to drop in. We can totally animate that. Why are we looking at it? We could totally animate that donut coming in. Let me turn these on, turn these off. There we go. We can totally animate. We don't need the sprinkles right now. We can animate the donut coming in manually, or we can just copy and paste, cause why waste time? Hey. All right, so let me go to my Nana driver. Let me copy my keyframes. Go to the donut driver. I'm gonna move in just a little bit. You can put this wherever you like, wherever it feels right. And we're gonna paste. It doesn't matter that we can't see where it is. The computer knows where to put it in. I like that, yeah! Banana candy, hey! Should we just like animate different bananas and candy and like pop them around? Indeed, I've been summoned out of lurking. Oh no! Not for the donut! What's your favorite donut, Jack? What's your favorite donut? Please let me know. Now I'm gonna press U just so I can see it. It's just nice to know, you know? And let's press play. Do we like it? Yeah, it's okay. It's cool, I dig it. It makes sense for a donut, to be honest, that it would be this stiff, but I wanna add that squash and stretch again to give a little bit more life. I'm a maple bar. Whoa, 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 whoa. We don't have this in England. Maple bar. Tell me more about this maple bar. Sounds divine. Okay, so let's go to our scale. That's how we do our squash and stretch. I'm just gonna pop it any old where. We can move it later and press U again to see everything. No, we don't have that. We don't have that. I wish I knew. I wish I knew what you were talking about. Oh, honey. Oh, no. Old fashioned donuts, believe it or not. Are you talking about what, the OG, just the standard glaze, the whole? Like, it's simple, although visually got to go with sprinkles. Oh. So we're talking like a glazed donut with kind of hundreds and thousands all sprinkled on top. They're so good. Okay. Well, I am coming to America sometime next year. So I will make my family take me to them. Be like, hi, a wonderful human told me there was something called a maple bar. Tell me where it is, please. Thank you. All right, we've got our scale. I'm just gonna put it back to the start. When it falls initially, we know on its way down it needs to stretch. Stretchy donut, stretchy donut. Here's a donut, you are. You're a stretchy donut, eh? And then we do need it to come back to normal. So let me grab the original keyframe and paste on that. So now we've got it kind of flying down. I mean, the way Jack was summoned, maybe this is the correct donut, just the, oh yeah, OG standard glaze. Ooh. It's like a donut, but it's in the shape of a, oh, classic glaze with maple. Oh my gosh. The next thing you're gonna tell me is that it's also deep fried. Like, what? Oh my gosh. We don't have that. We know have that. Bless it. Look, we've got this one place that does creative donuts, and like they give them funny names, like Chris Hemsworthy, Pump Up the Jam. Oh, there was something else. Oh, David Biscastle Scoff or something like that. Like, you can. It is. What? Val, we don't have deep fried things like that. Like, I feel like I need to experience it. I need a knife and fork. It feels like. So we need it to react to falling. Well, we've reacted to falling. That's the stretch. We need it to react to hitting the ground. So let me squash it beyond its means. I'm going to give it a little bit of width as well. Whoop. Oh, oof. A little bit of a chunky donut. Oop, oop, oop. Okay, let's make it a little bit wider, shall we? A little bit wider. Boom. Oh, yes. Now that's David Beckham Scotty. No, Richard. We deep fry a lot of things we shouldn't hear. Yeah, I heard about your deep fried ice cream. I heard about you. I heard about it. We got this chunky donut and we love it. Let me drag this out a bit. I'm gonna grab this last one, drag it a little bit. That's to give it that staggering effect. There we go. Now it kind of looks a little bit smoother than it was before. Let's drag it out one more time. Why not? Drag it out again. One more time. Oh, there we go. It's given us a bit of mass. It's given us the feeling that this has some weight to it. Ice cream van. I heard about it. I heard. Trust me. I trust and believe. I heard about these things. Okay, donut falls. Amazing. But I need the sprinkles. What I'm thinking, oh my gosh, we can have it react to the sprinkles falling up. We could just have it like da, 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 and that's like the sprinkles bouncing on it. Oh! Once we add the sprinkles, we'll see about it. So to do the sprinkles, let's turn on one first. One sprinkle is here. They're all slightly out of place because I pasted something that they didn't have on them originally. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select all of my sprinkles. I'm gonna press P and I'm just gonna move them back into place. So there is a little bit of is it a caveat to copying and pasting things that don't originally have a thing? You might have to do some moving around, but that's okay. It wasn't that bad. Right, I'm gonna turn off everyone but the first one, just so we can make our point known. Haven't had it. Deep fried ice cream is amazing. Wow, you lot are living wild. There used to be a donut shop here that made donut ice cream. Oh my God, donut ice cream sandwiches. They sadly closed during the pandemic, but it was so good. Oh my goodness. My goodness, Jack. England could not fathom. England is quaking in its boots. Let me tell you this now. We don't know. We don't know about none of that. Ice cream sandwich. I've heard people like make a kind of small thing, but nothing like that. Okay, donut sprinkle. We're gonna press P for position because that's what we need. Let me click on the keyframe right there. I'm gonna drag it over just a tiny bit. Now we need it to appear from out of nowhere. So let's move our keyframe over just a tad, then grab the Y axis and drag it up all the way out of sight. Okay, so I know we've done it in reverse, but sometimes that helps. Let me drag it in the opposite direction. So now it's going to start from the top and land back on the bottom. It kind of looks like it's in the same place. I kind of want to do that bouncing effect. Have it react to falling. Not with the stretch, but with it going over a step. So on this last bit, let's drag it down a little bit. Oh, my eye just twitched. There we go. Boop. And now we've got a little bounce on its way back up. We've got our 5-minute calling. So that means we've got to do this quick. Good thing is, now that we've done it once, we can just copy and paste this all over the place. Let's see if we have a problem. If we do, that'll be really good because we can talk about it. Let me press the P key again and press V. Now, copying and pasting, it should go where we want it to go, but it's not this time. The reason is it's copied both of our positions. So if you want to make sure that you can see both separately, all you have to do is right click on the position and go to separate dimensions, or separate, that's the word. Did you just do that? Yeah. Let's copy the Y key and paste it. So now it falls down. So let's do this to all of them. Select every single one and press V. Now we're gonna press U. I'm gonna drag this up a little bit so we can see everything. And all we're gonna do is move them to the side. That way they don't all fall at once. If they don't all fall at once, it makes it more interesting to see, and that's exactly what we want. Okay. You can make some fall at the same time if you want. I'm not sure if well, maybe I will have that one do it. That one might be okay. Just toscillate that back and forth. Ba-bum, ba-bim, and a bang. Let's check it out. Oh, we didn't even turn them on. Imagine my shock and horror. I was like, oh, what do you mean? Let me grab all of these UVs and press U. Make it a little bit easier for me to see the eyeball. There we go. And here they are. Oh, they're too low. Oh, okay. You know what we gotta do. We gotta do it. We had a good idea. Hi, Noir. We're actually on our way out. We're actually on our way out. We couldn't cheat the way I wanted to. Oh, PGN and PG up to move layers forward and backwards. Ooh. I just learned something new. Oh, that's amazing. That I did not know. Look at me learning something new. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Noir, I hope you're having a lovely day. I believe we've got Dan coming up directly after this. For you to know an easy way to do this after, yes, the copy and paste was correct, but it's slightly in the wrong position for the other ones. So to fix this, it's gonna be a little slow, I'm sorry. All you have to do is go to the last keyframe and just drag the position up, or make sure that the last frame was pasted beforehand. Let me turn this one on, give us a little look-see. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Not too bad. Not too bad or too shabby. Do we have time? We might. We've got about 3 minutes left, so I'm gonna go to the last of each one and move them up to where they should be. There we go. We got this one, we got this one, and this one, and this sprinkle was there, and that sprinkle was there, and this sprinkle was there. There we go. Now we've got them popping in a little bit. Some of their movements are a little bit too low, so we can change those as well. But to make sure that we don't go over time, we'll focus on the ones that we did actually get finished, shall we? Thank you so much for having me. My name is Pixipui. And I've got a few very interesting things lined up for you the next time. But do check out my Behance. I'll be uploading all of the Animation 101 files, including the ones that we didn't get to finish in the stream. That way you can download the files and work along with it at your own pace. Thank you so much again for hanging and chilling with me while we made some delicious foodism pingy my bobbies. I'll see you later. Bye.